आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवं उपास्महे कृष्णं कमलपत्राक्षं पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनं वासुदेवं जगद्योनिं नौमि नारायणं हरिं नौमि नारायणं हरिं नौमि नारायणं हरिं. So today we have the great opportunity of studying Parayana and Adhyayana of Vidura Neeti, an important text from Mahabharata. And Vidura happened to be the minister of Dhritarashtra, a very wise man, a very wise gentleman. But in spite of the presence and advice and wisdom given by Vidura, Dhritarashtra could not act on that. He was not independent, and he was dependent. Therefore, but he has the fear, diffidence, etc., that he is not doing justice to his brother's children. However, it has come to a final point where Sanjaya returned from Dharmaraja after their Vanavasam, and it brought some message. And the previous evening, he reached Dhritarashtra and chided him, saying that he has mismanaged the whole administration by giving every authority to his 4 people, and including, especially to his eldest son, Duryodhana, and having vested your entire authority and responsibility upon them. How at all you can expect any peace of mind? So, but Vidura said, I will announce the opinion or communication of Dharmaraja in the open court tomorrow morning. So before that, he was so much disturbed, full of scorpion's mind. So he wanted to know what could be that. So he was anxious. He called Vidura to get some peace of mind. And the moment Vidura was called for, he immediately came, stood at the door for permission to reach Dhritarashtra. When the servant went and told, then Dhritarashtra said, no, he should not wait to meet me at the door. And he accessed direct. So Vidura came and started and knew what is the problem in his head and what he wants. So he started describing the Vidura, so many Subhashitas, say moral science, we call it moral science, moral education, through which we'll have upliftment, self-upliftment and self-knowledge and self-realization, and therefore we'll get level, and thereby we get some kind of relief. So this is what would happen because of the presence and guidance and instruction by the elders and wisdomful people. So now we have been going on with the words of Vidura, and moreover, this particular text we should know that it is like Veda. There is no interconnected things like a story book or a novel. Oh, if you don't read the chapter, you don't know next chapter what you can understand. Nothing like that. It's Rigveda, Mahabharata, because all sequences are generally independent, and they are independently could be also understood. That's why you know that this particular Mahabharata has been called as a Panchama Veda. Veda is Gnanam, knowledge. Panchama Veda is apart from the 4 plus it is. Therefore, it is going to be the Moksha Shastra. It is going to be Moksha Shastra, and it is a Yoga Shastra, and so on and so forth. And ultimately, the sentiment of Mahabharata is said to be the Shantarasa, peace. So unless peace is there, you can't step on to the moksha portals. Therefore, the penultimate requirement to step on to the portals of the Shantara, of the moksha, emancipation, otherwise called birthlessness, is only to rely upon the Shanti. Therefore, that Shanti is being instituted into the mind of the Dhritarashtra, however, by Vidura. And now We are just going on with the text of Vidura Neeti, second chapter or so, and we are in the 39th sloka. Last session we stopped there. And in this particular section, how people desert the persons who does not, the person who does not keep up the character and conduct, who will not keep up his words, who will not be adaptable, adopting satyam, dharmam and all that. So, for example, he talks about an interesting example in 38th stanza of second chapter of Vidura Neeti or so. There he says, Chalitam chalachitta manaha Atmanam indriyanam vashanugam arthaha samativartante hamsaha sushkam saroyatha. A beautiful parallel. Just like a river, just like a lake, when it is completely dried up of the water, even the swans which enjoyed which stayed in the lake would desert the lake because it is only a pit. It is only hollow matter, but no water. So similarly, if anybody were to have a fickle-mindedness and he will not have the indriyas, the five sentiments under his control, but if he is controlled by the sentiments or the sensory organs, such people will be widowed with the goals of life. And they should not be slave to the senses. And so actually a standard person is compared to a swan, here a hamsa. And among all birds, hamsa is the highest powerful wisdom-ridden bird, and it's a saintly bird, and it is completely white. Its habits are white, and its gait also very dignified, etc. So, and it has got its ability to be able to separate milk and water in the milk. So that's a unique gift that God has given, that it only takes the milk and leaves the water content of the milk. Well, that is a unique ability. That's exactly the Vedantic formula. Why do you read Vedanta? Why do you want wisdom? If you put a question, it is able to have the power of discrimination. You should be able to take what is good, something like the butterfly. A butterfly or a bee will always flinch upon a flower. It will not harm the flower, but it only sucks the honey and get out. And it ultimately, the honeybee forms a comb full of honey, and which will be useful and very much nutritious. That is what is that bee. The same way, you have got flies and mosquitoes. They flinch upon filth and cause infection, disease, and all the problems. Therefore, hamsa is something like the bee or a butterfly, which is only available to take the wisdom and leave off what is not that. And in the next sloka, you see, akasmadeva kupyanti prasam prasidanti animittataha Silametatu asadhunam abhram pariplavam yatha. Well, why do we want Vidura Neeti? Because we have grand examples and parallels and analogies. And it will just elevate our mood management. Actually, mood should be managed. Mood is mind's status. Generally, mind has got the habit of getting dropped down so quickly, so immediately, and it is very hard for anybody to maintain a stable mind, because mind is like Mercury, and it has got gamana gamana silam manaha. The mind has got the simple harmonic motion to go and come back, which will not be stable at a point. It is like the pendulum. Pendulum will be going always, moving always to A to B, B to A to B. So like that, there are people who are known as short-tempered people. Their temper is never stable. So sometimes there are people who suddenly become angry. Kupyanti akasmadeva. So without a reason, suddenly they become angry. Why they are angry, we don't know. Again, prasidanti animittataha. Without reason, they become very gracious and helping. So the both things are not at all predictable in those short-tempered people. And therefore, this kind of instability in the temper or mood management is something that is making the person as asadhus, not trustworthy people. You can't trust a short-tempered man. How like? Again, another beautiful example is given. So the weak-minded people are like that. It is like abhram pariplavam yatha. That is, the clouds and the sky are not constant. See, that's why clouds, white clouds, patch of clouds will be keep on moving, and they never stable, they never stay. But only those clouds which will definitely give rain and water, that water to the ground, they only hung low, dark, full of complexion, and full of lightning and wind. That's why Kalidasa, as I told, he has given a beautiful analysis or composition of a cloud. He said cloud is nothing but Dhuma, Jyoti, Salila, and Marut. There is smoke in the cloud, and Jyoti, and water, and wind. So if the percentage is low for these things, wind will be there, of course. But all these four items are there in cloud, but that cloud will stay some time until the water in it is being exhausted at the places. So sadhus are like the rain-giving clouds, while asadhus are like just white patches of clouds that hover over the sky, but they don't disturb the sky, but the blue color of the sky is being hampered. Therefore, he says like that. And because I already explained it elaborately in the last session, I don't want to spend more time because the clouds are there. In fact, clouds are taken as the difficulties. And they are all compared to, clouds are compared to the elephants, the cloud color. And the lion is compared to the way how it can be removed. Therefore, Simha Swapna for elephants. So clouds are all problems. But if one lion were to appear, then all elephants are no matter for anybody. That's exactly in the astrologers will tell it as a Gajakesari yoga. 1,000 elephants, one lion, no fear. So like that, he says, but we have to always keep our mood management very well stable, then only you, but Dhritarashtra is not like that. He may get good ideas, but when Duryodhana comes and infuses, poisons the mind and saying, I want, then he will immediately put his counter signature for the proposal, and thereby there is an injustice done to number of people. And in the next sloka, that is 40th sloka, again, and from this onwards, we have to tell Satkrutaha, Krutarthaha, Mitranam, Nabhavanti ye, Tan Mrutanapi, Kravyadaha, Kritagnan, Nobabhunjate. A beautiful thing that, generally, the very birds of prey abstain from touching the dead bodies who having been served and benefited by friends, show ingratitude to that. So those people who are not grateful to the friends, they are really hopeless people. Because, the nature is very much helpful to all people in the world. As long as one breaths life, the nature will be cooperating, supporting, and covering the entire needs of the individual. But if you don't pay regard for the thing, it's very much. So what is the nature here? You see, Satkrutaha, Krutarthaha. So those people who have been benefited, if they are not at all benefiting the one, then the people will never touch them at all. And the same in Valmiki in Ramayana says that Kritagnascha nasti niskrutihi anta. That is, A person who is a krutagna, krutam nasayati, ghatayati, yaha, saha krutagna, ungrateful people. You derive all benefits, but you never return or respond. You just always be selfish. So such people have not got any way out, expiation. Diskruti is expiation. So there is no expiation for those. That's why here Sugriva and Rama are very careful that they so manage that they cannot offend to each other. So Rama Karya is important, Sugriva Karya important, and therefore such a wonderful cooperation, coordination, etc. was there between Sugriva and Rama. Actually, Rama is an orphan when he came to forest. He has no support howsoever. But he took the support of Sugriva, the Vanara king, because of the advice given by a Rishi, and said Sugriva Vasago Bhava. So whatever difficulty or positivity is there, he tolerated. But most important is, if you want to have friendship, you should be grateful to them. Because krutagna na upabhunjate means even the worms, animals, etc., which you ate or from which you derived benefit, they will not touch you when your body lies not with life. Then that's why so the benefiting, so you have to mutually benefit. There should be paraspara preeti, paraspara prema, and that should be a pravaha. Paraspara preeti pramaha janita. That's what people say like that between wife and husband. Most important, they should continue to be lovable and trustworthy for whole life, whole long. That is Sanatana Dharma. And so, Krutagna, in other words, this Vidura is chiding Dhritarashtra, you are a Krutagna. You have derived so much of benefit from Pandava, your own brother, and his children also, and they were able to tolerate and try to give all respect for you. They always regard you as a brother of their father. But you never recognized that kind of love and affection. You are a most hopeless fellow, and so you have to suffer fear. You have to suffer disbelief, and you have to suffer because you never gave anything positive to Pandavas. That's what indirectly, because Maharajas cannot be chided directly, because after all is a minister. A minister, an employee, cannot advise to the bosses. We don't know the temperament of the bosses. They may take it positive or they will dismiss you from job. That's why, in a very indirect manner, that Vidura is scolding that you are a krutagna. Then next sloka 41, he says, Arthayadeva mitrani sati vasati vadhane nanarthayan vijanati mitranam sarifalgutam. So, see, Arthaya deva mitrani sati vasati vadhane nanarthayan vijanati mitranam sara phalgutam. Is again a beautiful thing that sincerity is important. And whatever be your status, whether you are a poor person or you are an arthi or a beggar or you are a rich person, but dear friends, do not give importance for this. That's important. A friend indeed is indeed a friend anta English alli helidare. So in deed and in need, look at the beautiful word punning on the word. So same way, Vidura is also telling that you should honor your friends. Whether you are a rich person or a poor person. That regarding that friendship, we have got also a grand example. You remember Kuchela and Krishna. Krishna's status is a very rich, but Kuchela is a poor Brahmin, suffering poverty and paucity and etc. On the advice of his wife, he wanted to meet his classmate Krishna long years back in the Sandipani ashramam. Probably Sandipani was the Rishi, was the teacher to all of them. And somehow he's a Brahmin, poor Brahmin, and he could not. But after so many years, when he went to the court, to the place of Krishna, and when he got the news that his Kuchela classmate long back came, he came out. You know the story very well. And he took and he Pada Seva he did and did lot of very good things. So that is what is a classical example to say that your status, whether you're a poor boy or a rich person, no matter. Nanarthayan vijanati mitranam sara bhalgutam. So you see, if you, that is important for all people. Friendship is important, sneha is important, not any other personal considerations. That's what it said. So, nanarthayan vijanati mitranam sara palgutam. In fact, if you want to test your friend, in case of crisis and difficulty, if you were to ask some help, if they don't do it, then you can know. Because in Facebook, you have got thousands of friends for you, but I don't know how far they are really helpful to you. And even in practical life, we have friends, but you cannot take all friends. That's why there is a proverb, whatever number of friends you may acquire, you should have 4 trusted friends. 4 is the minimum. Because when some contingency happens, the 4 people can carry you to the graveyard and do cremation. So that's why he said you should honor your friends, and you will not also know the real friend unless you try to test him in case of calamity or war, need, and all those things. And so this particular sloka is very much testifying that the English proverb, a friend in need is indeed a friend. Now, the 42nd sloka, I think you understood. And now this 42nd sloka also, you got that friendship. He's talking about friendship. Santapad prasyate rupam, santapad prasyate balam, santapad nasyate gnanam, santapad vyadhim ruchyati. What a beautiful statement that this is santapa is worry. Samyak tapa, santapa. Tapa everybody has got. You know, tapa is sorrow. And you should not pay extreme attention for sorrow. Keep on brooding over that or worry. There is no wall for worry at all. You should build a wall and turn to other jobs. But generally, there are people who get buried in these sorrows. And when once they are buried in worries, they are not able to get out of it. But it is an advice given by here that you don't be buried by your sorrows and worries and all problems. But you have to get rid of them, kill the sorrow. That's a nasyati. See, look at the verb used by, say, bhrasyate, bhrasyate, bhrasyate. And so, bhrasyate means they will not be having any elevation at all. They get almost buried inside. So that's why even in Durga Saptasati, Markandeya Maharshi says that mohyante mohitas tatra, like that, and mohameshyanti kechana mohagarte nipatitaha. The Markandeya Maharshi becomes so angry about those people who keep on attracted to the moha, attracted to the santapa and all that, and therefore he says moha garta, or the garta is a pit into which if they are falling, it's hard. Something like to capture elephants or some such animals, they dig one big pit and then the elephant thinking it is that is called kupa. Into a kupa which is covered with the grass, they will not understand. So they fall into that, they catch. So like that, moha garte nipatitaha. Santapa is something like that they are not benefited. Therefore, he says the santapaha bhrasyate rupam. That is, rupa is our beauty, personality, health. All that will be destroyed. Your face. See, when you are worrying more, look at the face. Why you are cutting a worried face? Be happy. Other people will say that. So that's why it kills the mood. And again, it kills the strength also, balam. Hey, if at all you are asked something to do it, though you are capable, you refuse to do that work. That's why Vidura says even the strength also is being endangered. And again, you don't stay to understand others. If you are worried, your worry only will bother others, but you will not understand other person. That's why he says that, see, santapa gnanam prasyate. See, gnana nasha is a, see, gnana nasha. That's why even Shankara in Bhajagovinda Stotram, we have got a beautiful example. See, he says that when you keep on thinking about it, there is a lot of consequence. So ultimately, you should try to get rid of that. And the sloka, you all know that you see, if you ultimately everything is gone. That dhyana, thinking of the same thing will give you. So Shankara, I mean, this kind of idea has been elaborated in our scriptures and by all great saints and philosophers with a different color. But the matter is only that, no doubt, the birth upon the earth is always two, dvandvam, sukha, dukkha. And that's why even Bhagavad Gita, Krishna advises, Sthita Pragnasya ka bhasha is the good question put by Arjuna. And Krishna takes a long rope to decide, to define what is Sthita Prajna. You have not to care this and that. You should not be sandwiched with that. You should have some kind of controls over self. Sukha daksheshu anudvignaha. See, anudvigna is important. And that's the same thing, that anudvignata, to drop down, you require gnanam. So gnana devatu kaivalyam. That's what Shankara says, that you will get only kaivalyam through gnanam. Karmana badhyate jantuhu gnanena vimuchyate. So Neeti, what is the Neeti is, vimochana is wanted. That vimochana is moksha. That is mochana, vimochana. Mochana is temporary relief, but vimochana is permanent relief. What is that permanent relief? It leads you to absolute peace and happiness. Like that, he says that sorrow is one. Therefore, he is telling, Dhritarashtra is being advised, sorrow is one. If at all you want to get rid of the sorrow, you do justice to Pandavas. If you do justice, there will be Atma Shanti. With that Atma Shanti, you will be happy. So you just take some deviation from the opinions of your own children. You just drop that, and then you will be happy. That's what he is advising indirectly, that by simply worrying, you will not build anything. If you stop worrying and start working, then you will be progressing. Something like telling, if some difference in health, our body, a pain, take some painkillers and go to the work. That's what a doctor would say. Matralu mingesi and purcheskuntu undu. That matralu, the tablets will keep working and make you do it. But not doing anything towards that kind of problem, if you do it, then you will not be using your time appropriately. That's why sorrow brings on diseases, vyadhigalu. You know, the word vyadhi that Vyasa uses is interesting. Vyadhim ruchyati, what problems, what health problems you don't have, you will pick them up. That's why even to get diseased is also, to get the diseases is also very, therefore, even the heart. So for example, heart is the important thing. The heart also responds to the kind of intensity of worry that you entertain, because, and therefore animitta should not have the balam. Therefore here says rupam, balam, santapam, and gnanam, and bhrasyati. And on the other hand, what are we going to gain by the santapams? And that we are only getting very bad, getting diseases. So adhyatmika, adhibhautika, tapatraya we call it, tapa. And tapatrayas are there for all people. Tapatraya is there, adhyatmika, adhibhautika, adhidaivika. And we have got to manage these tapatrayas. That's why we make a Narasimha Pravartanam, that where we pray to Narasimha Swami to help us not to get affected by these tapatrayas, try to go beyond these things. So tapatraya vinasakaha parameswaraha. But generally, those people who are having the sorrow, they will not go to Devata Mandir and do puja. If you ask them to puja or meditation or dhyana or japa, they refuse to do it. For example, if you ask, do Gayatri japa, do Mrityunjaya japa, they say, oh no, I'm worried, I cannot concentrate. Help with the concentration, but utter concentration will follow it. That's what elders will tell. So here also, Vidura is telling like that. And again, he's talking one more verse, the importance of the grief, in a sense that it will make you lose your own senses, lose your own happiness, and you will be more and more unhappy. In the 43rd sloka, he says, Anavapyam cha shokena shariram cha upatapyate amitrascha prahursyanti masma shoke manaha kruthaha. Again, beautiful address is ma shoke manaha kruthaha sma. This is what is the final advice, that please do not let the shoka take over you, because there are always enemies to you. Okay, you don't think that all people are your friends. Though some people behave like friends, they want to find out all your weaknesses and strike you looking at the opportunity. That's why in Sanskrit we have got one more beautiful statement, Randhranveshino hi vidveshinaha. See, vidveshina, those enemies are always looking after finding out some weakness in you, then they wanted to capture. But if there is a strong mind, strong support, then you will not be able to lose it. Grand example is, the latest example, as you all know, Krishna Devaraya is a great emperor, and he is very good, all very well famous in South. That's why Andhra, he's a Pitamaha. See, he's called Andhra Bhoja, is again, and Samarangana Chakravarti. So many titles are there to Krishna Devaraya, the king. Samarangana Chakravarti. He's a Chakravarti not only in the war, but also in the literary sessions or Gnana Sabhas. So such a person happened to go to fight with some enemies, and therefore all important soldiers and all were taken away along with him. And looking at that kind of opportunity, another enemy by name Gajapati Maharaja, he wanted to capture Vijayanagar when he was away. At that time, he sent a letter. At that time, the king was not there. So there was one poet, I think Tikkana, and there was another Ashtadiggajas, one poet. And he just replied that letter sent by the Gajapati Maharaja, saying that, he said, all youth, the emperor, the Raja, everybody has gone away to have, at that juncture you have come. It is something like a dog entering into a market. Kukka chochina riti chochedavu Narendra. That is the last line of the stanza. And he compares that Gajapati Maharaja to a dog which enters into a market for no avail and no objection, and just like that. Kukka chochina riti, in Telugu it is there. So like that, the enemies are waiting, but when they come to know that situation and appropriate retaliation, they will be. But here, if you do not at all retaliate or respond, but give prominence to the shoka, then you are a great loser. And so you should not lose your life. That should be preserved. That's why anuvapya sokena sariram cha upatapyate. If you are not helping the object, even your body upatapyate, there's a dried up. So your body gets dried up, gets exhausted, get not useful at all. Sariram upatapyate, because Anything, everything affects the Sariram. The Sarira, the body is called the script. Deha, Kalebara, Sarira, Rupa. There are so many Paryasabdas in Sanskrit which have got a particular signification characterizing the body as such. So Sarira means Siriyata is Sariram. It is liable to get diminishing, decaying and all that. So Siriyate, you cannot expect our body to remain the same as the age works upon our body. But mind remains young, but not the body. It loses all stamina and all faculties become dull. And therefore, if the Shoka were to be the prominent idea, then what happens? It affects the body. You will not eat well, you will not sleep well, you will not do normal duties properly. Then you are gripped by the Shokam. Therefore, he said that if at all Shoka comes to you, if at all any kind of worry or problem comes, crisis comes to you, you have to do something to manage. That's exactly what we call crisis management. So crisis is there and management is important. That is Gnanam. So crisis management has been a subject matter in all our scriptures you observe. In Dashavatar of Vishnu or in Vedas also. So you have to have in Bhagavad Gita crisis management, Ramayana crisis management, in Mahabharata. So any and everywhere, crisis is something normal to all people. But the skill to manage and get rid of that crisis is skill. For example, Rama. Tato yuddha varisrantam samare chintaya sthitam daivataischa samagamya drashtumabhyagatoranam. Look at the first stanza. Rama is such an eminent soldier, eminent person taken as avatar, but Rama never thinks that he is a Vishnu by himself. He just always considered that he is a human being. And what human being can achieve and demonstrate to the other human being standardized, he has worked for that. He suffered a lot. However, though he's a prince and he's a Maharaja and all that, everybody says, Ayo Rama, Aho Rama. So Ayo Rama means he's always Karuna Murti. He has suffered a lot to show that. So there Rama, Yuddha Parisranta, he fought with Ravanasura completely to the exhausting point of his strength. Then when once your strength gets almost melting away time, then Daivataisha Samagamya Abhyagato Ranam Agastya. See, Abhyagati is somebody who is not having an invitation for him. That is, Abhyagati and Atithi are the two terms in Sanskrit. Atithi is appointed guest. Abhyagati is unappointed, suddenly rising guest. So Agastya Maharshi and all gods are Abhyagatis to Rama. And then he said, Rasmi Mantam Sabudjantam Deva Saranamaskaram Namaskujayasvarivaswantam. That's the clue. So like that, we have got crisis management. That's exactly what Vidura is telling in the 43rd sloka, that anavapyam shoka, avapya shoka, anavapya. So you have to do something when problem comes up. Because if you don't do anything to the crisis, what would happen? Amitraha prahushyanti. The amitraha, those people who hate you, who are not friendly to you, they try to become unhappy. That's why the advice given by him, by Vidura, is masma shokaha shoke manaha krutaha. Don't entertain your mind to get gripped by the shoka. This kind of style you see in by Shankaracharya also in Manisha Panchakam. He says that Vedo Nityamadhiyatam Tadujatam Karmasmanushthiyatam Ma Vrutha Vakyamucharyatam Swatmana Sthiyatam. So Shankaracharya, we have to remember him. He has made such a wonderful remembrance to all the scriptures, the wisdom prayed in that. So he says, Ma vrutha vakyamucharyatam. Don't employ wasteful sentences. He says, Ma vrutha kopam karayet. Don't become angry. That's why in entire Ramayana, Valmiki is very careful to talk about the character of Rama. He always says, Kopam pravisya Ramaha, Kopam avisya Ramaha, Kopam jagama Ramaha. All these verbs will tell you Kopa is a separate compartment in the personality of anybody. And so you have got to invite the anger, you have to invite the Sauka, unless otherwise it will not come and pester you at all. That's the idea, implication. The Soka, Kopa, Asuya, all these Kama, Krodha, they are all different compartments in our body. But unless you invite them or give chance for them to interfere into you, then only you are put in that. That's why Amitra, all Amitras are waiting that you get into worry, you get into fear, you get into diffidence, all these things. So, my dear king, brother, don't give room for Shoka in your mind. Tomorrow, when you are sitting in the open court, when announcements have been done, don't worry. You just be yourself. Atmanam vidhi. That's what the suggestion given by Vidura is. He's almost preparing the mind of Dhritarashtra how he should conduct himself the next day court. That's why ultimately they were given some portion of land, shared by Duryodhana, and afterwards the war and all those things. So when they completed the thing, then Dharmaraja also got all these 5 Pandavas got land. And so they became the rulers. And later on, as a ruler, there was that dice play and all those things. But and all those things were there. So here, most important is exactly Dhritarashtra heard the advice by Vidura to some extent. And so he has ma shokaha manaha kritaha. Mind is stupid. Whatever is given to the mind says yes. But the mind mind is sandwiched between the indriyas and the buddhi. That's what Krishna always striking in Bhagavad Gita. So mind can flow. If mind depends upon indriyas, hopeless. If mind depends upon the buddhi, great. And this buddhi again depends upon the parabuddhi, Krishna Paramatma. So there is that kind of hierarchy determined in entire Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is telling indriyas are there, and indriyas are so selfish that they always go after their goals. Indriyaha indriyartheshu pravartante. Wonderful, beautiful statement. You cannot dictate the indriyas. They, without your knowledge, whether you ask them or not, they start functioning. For example, if you just open your eyelids, or if you open your eye, you don't tell your eye to start seeing. It's automatic. That's what a eye doctor told when cataract is removed, lens is put. You need not wait for your eye to work. The moment you open your eye, the eye works. Doesn't matter what treatment is given. So the indriyas, when they are helped to be normal, they will not stop from their action. Indriyaha indriyartheshu pravartante. Therefore, he talks about, Vidura is telling, manas is important. As we all know, mana eva karanam bandha mokshayoho. Whether you are enticed or whether you are relieved or get relieved, the mind is important. So if you are a mind management or mood management expert, you have no fears at all. That is the wisdom which our Vidura is trying to impart to Dhritarashtra, who is shoka-stricken, diffidence-stricken, and fear-stricken. So, ma shokaha kritaha, and in the 44th sloka, again, so why I am quoting or deviating to exemplify the statements of Vidura is that Vidura Neeti is not completely confined to only Mahabharata, and all our scholars and saints and philosophers aware of Mahabharata knowledge or Purana knowledge, whenever opportunity comes to them, when they reach people, they advise all that. The percentage, real Swamijis, they do not talk about their personal problems. When once the people approach them, they talk about spiritual matters. They talk about the solutions. They consider that is a good guru. If you go to meet a Swamiji, if Swamiji start talking, oh, today there was no water in our matham, there was no electricity for 2 hours. If these things you were to talk to the Sishyas or visitors, do you like them? No. The Swamiji's concern is to look to you. That's why it is said, Sugataihi Subhashitaihi Prabodha Padavim Prapnuvanti Guravaha. Bana says at one place, who is Guru? Sugataihi Subhashitaihi Prabodha Padavim Prapnuyanti. That is Sugatavagirava, Subodha Puritavagirava, Subhashitagalinda. They will bring you the awareness of things. What is Gnanam? What is Pragnanam? What is Vignanam? What is all this? All this is trying to give awareness in us, because our mind is ready to get open for the awareness. Therefore, he says like that. And finally, he says, Punarnaraha mriyate jayate cha, Punarnaraha hiyate vardhate cha, Punaha naraha yachati yachyate cha, Punaha naraha sochati sochyate punaha. Well, what is man? Beautiful definition for a Nara. We always talk about Nara Narayanas. Before a Krishna Arjunas, we have the Naranarayana avatar of Vishnu. And that's why even today, when you go to Badrinath, where is Badrinath stationed? The temple is stationed in between two mountains by name Naranarayana. So there you get Sankalpam. Alakatire Naranarayana Parvatayor Madhye Badari Narayana Kshetre Yoga Narayana Kshetre, like that Sankalpa goes. So Nara and Narayana both are important. Nara is seeker, Narayana is the provider. So when seeker and provider are together in friendship, there is always success. Same thing, Yatra Yogeswara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Srihi Vijayaha Bhuti, and Dhruvani Iti Matihi Mama. So I don't want it. Dhruvani, no doubt about it. Similarly, he says that any man, any mortal, Naraha is mortal, he will die, he is born, and he will become dull, and he will become happy. He will become weak, lean, and he will become strong, and he will be a beggar, and he will be begged by others. Yachati, yachyati, and again, ultimately, sochati, sochyate cha punaha. This the last portion is important, because he's talking about the shoka. So he will be having lamentation is there. He will lament and are lamented by others. He will lament when somebody dies. And when he dies, there are other people who lament. So a man is posed for both things, something like the coin on two sides. Therefore, don't think that you are only the lamenter always. But when something happens to you, there are also other people who lament about you. Therefore, a Nara is having this kind of difficulty that he cannot be stable. But the mind is one wonderful blessing given by Paramatma, as he has created the man, human being, that he has given the power to be able to manage Sita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, Shanti, Shoka, etc. And then to become a Sthita Prajna. And that's exactly, Krishna is always hammering the head of Arjuna. So he says, Yogi Bhava, Arjuna, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate, and Yudhyasva Bharata. Like that, he keeps on hammering the head. And Moham Tyaja, Klaibhyam Tyaja, etc. He will be telling it. So one yoga, that is Vishada Yoga, has made Krishna to give 17 yogas. It's interesting, because to convince a seasoned scholar, a warrior, at a critical time, Krishna cannot say one word and say go. No. Arjuna is equally. Arjuna is a yogi, Yogishwara, and Krishna is a Yogishwareswara. Here also, Vidura is a Yogeshwareswara and Dhritarashtra is just Yogeshwara. Like that, he says that, see, the Punaha means repetition. Repetition is a formula for all human beings. That's why there is one more statement which Bhavbhuti says, Nuttaram Sarita, Randhro Paripatinaha, Anarthaha, anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. See, anarthas will keep on repeating over the same thing repeatedly. So, Randhra, where there is a problem, some more problems come and join, make it more problem. Otherwise, it is called a chatet angaraha. If you put, when there is an injury over that, if you were to put some more burning situation, then angara, that which will make it, inflammation will only increase. Therefore, here, shoka and manas, he is trying to describe these two things, shoka and that. So very beautiful. And so I think I have, so shoka is one and manas is another. So to say, we can understand mind is solution, shoka, janma, marana, weakness, growth, and begging, get begged, all these things are common to all human beings. There is no surprise if you get awards. There is no surprise if you are refused of the awards. Both things are possible. That's why we say one is a winner, another is a runner. So runner cries, winner jumps with joy, always in matches. This football match going on world, you observe. See, there was a tie between two groups and Argentina ultimately got it. So they are jumping, the other people are crying. But the name is runner and winner. So this is common to all naras. Na-ra, that is, we are all seekers of knowledge. Therefore, here he says, Vidura is advising, my dear brother, don't give room. Let your mind be stable. Let mind be like the swan. Let not the body get dried up with unwanted worries. So please do not worry. Keep your mind stable. Train your mind such that all these disturbing elements are removed, and then only you will be a good friend and all people like your friendship. So he says that, so all these kriyas, what is that? Even in Taittiriya Aranya Prashna, which we are going to have another 1 hour after, there he says, Mrutva punarmrutyuma padyante adyamanaha swakarmabhi ashatikaha krimayaiva. Beautiful statement, you see. Mrutva punarmrutyuma padyante. They die and again they die. In between there is life. Mrutva punarmrutyama padyante. In between what they do, adyamanaha swakarmabhi. They are all eating away their own karma. Karma nasha is important. Karmana badhyate. Badha. That kind of bandha has got to be untied. That's why adyamanaha swakarmabhi. How like they are all eating the karma, andre asha atikaha krimayaiva, like worms which are hopeful. Because hope is an important gain for all beings born in the world. We have got another statement like a bee caught inside the lotus in the night thinks like this. Ratrir gamishyati bhavishyati suprabhatam bhasvanudeti vikasishyati pankajasri. Oh, the night time will pass away. The sun will come. The lotus will bloom. And I can fly off. That's the optimistic thinking that all beings would have. That's what is called ashatika. So here, Vidura is telling what a beautiful thing that manas is given by the God. You cultivate the mind. You give dharma to the mind. Sanatana dharma it is. Then only you will get a peace and you try to be. So sokam is there, but don't give importance to that. That's exactly is again a formula for Krishna to Arjuna. Ma Vishada. Don't have the Vishada yoga with you. Yujyasva Bharata, Yogi Bhava Arjuna, etc. All these things tell you that action is important. For action, your mind is important. Your mind should be positive, then action is positive, then your success of your life span is heralded with all success. So I think with this sloka 42, we just tried, 44 sloka, we stop today our session, and next Saturday, hopefully, I think we meet it, or sometime later, because next Saturday and Sunday we have got our annual day celebrations of Adhyayana Kendra and World Association for Vedic Studies. So I always, of course, I'm sending the program to you, and there are wonderful speakers, and we try to learn something about this, about the dharma and adharma quest, because nobody knows what is dharma, what is dharma. See, kim dharmam, kim adharmeti, munayohi mumuhuhu. Even the munis, silent people who are highly getting into, they also got confused. Atigahanaha, it is very deep down. So let us see what scholars are trying to put forth. What is dharma? And when you talk about dharma, you should also talk about adharma. What is denied of adharma is called dharma. But I don't know what people are. Even Dashavatara, there are two speakers to speak about Matsyavatara and Vamana and Varahavatara. So let us enjoy. Please share the program and flyer to all people, your friends. Let more people benefited to know dharma and adharma. And we have to release our Veda Ganga on 17th. So I request all your cooperation, support, and see that the effort put forth by Adhyayana Kendra members and all people or speakers who are ready to share their gnana. See, gnana vitarana is being taken place. Welcome to all that. So next Saturday, we don't be meeting, I think. The next Saturday, we'll just try to meet. Thank you. Om Swasti, Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanamastu, Sarvam Sri Matrucharana Ravindarpanamastu. Om Tat Satu. Any feedback you give? How are you finding, sir? Vidura, our friend Vidura?
Uncle Ji, I was thinking one thing, like with so many acharyas who attached to Dhrashtaraj, and he's doing wrong. Why people have earlier time they have not left, like we leave organization or kingdom? Why they attached, and the perspective of Dhrashtaraj has not changed, or Duryodhana has not changed. I think it's good to learn from what we should do good. But I was just thinking, with all the wisdom there with people, why people don't leave when something is going wrong, and why is that they are not also contributing to this effort? Why, what is the reason? I don't think I understood my mind.
Yeah, you know that people love don'ts more than that. And they have got the antas kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada. And they are not Vedantic people. They always think that the earth is permanent for them. They never have the idea that one day they have to also get out. Those people who go to cremation place, they think that other fellow is burnt and going away, alpa issue, and he has not performed daughter's marriage and all that. You regret so much about him, but you don't think about ourselves. That's Atma Gnana and Atma Vedana and Nyasa Buddhi is not at all present generally to all people unless they go to gurus, unless they go to scriptures. That's exactly what is the teaching in Mahanarayana Upanishad, the last portions. You just please read the important things which will help us for Atma Gnana, Atma Bodha, and so, but generally people don't go. How many people attend good lectures? You know, if there's some cinema star or some other such bad things are there in Facebook or elsewhere or meetings, thousands of people look at it. But if there's a discussion on Vidura Neeti or something like that, hardly you find viewers, hardly you find complete. So this is how good is unattractive. Gold is unattractive. Huma gold is attractive. So people do not go to Vedantic portals at all. It's all their personal loss, is it not? How many people go to temple? How many people attend the literary session, Vedantic sessions? How many people practice? There are so many yoga centers. The people consider yoga to be only physical exercise. They go to stay fit to gymnasium. What they do? Nothing. All animal asanas, they do it and come home, make the body stronger. But body will be weaker also. Cannot remain stronger and healthy constantly. So there are so many difficulties, but people don't bother. They try to go through these kama, krodha, lobha, moha. That's why it is said that if you drop down the jealous, then the kama, krodha, lobha, all these 5 elements will be silent. So silence is important. Silencing is important. Controlling. That's even Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, between mind is sandwiched between this and that. But generally, mind looks at the indriyas. I want to eat wonderful 4 masala doshas, he thinks. 4 masala doshas do not help him. But desire, desire. So these days, people are seeing money, but not comfort. Right from 7 o'clock, night 10 o'clock, they are with computer and working. Where is the enjoyment for the most of the people? At least in America, people have got 2 days, Saturday, Sunday. In India, it is not at all there. Even on Sunday, they are with computer. Even the night, they are in computer. A whole load of work. Even the married people, newly married couple are not getting children immediately because both of them are sitting in the night time with computers. Even if 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, they don't go to sleep, they get tired. So thereby, you observe so many people attitude and all that has changed. I think so. Because of that, we are really losing. The younger generation you consider, and the older generation, still older generation you consider. There is a lot of contrast. Bengaluru, for example, in our young days is different from today. They say that Rex Theatre in Bengaluru is now a wonderful parlor with all amenities and all that. Why do you want? Because you have got money to spend. And even money also cannot be spent. Your people in the house will spend your money. You have no time to enjoy your own money. Is it not, sir? You get thousands and lakhs of rupees, but you have no time to go to a shop and make your own choiceful purchases. So, because the attitude and desire and all that is different. That's why who attends the Vedanta classes? Who thinks of the Atma Gnana? Atmanam Vedayati, anta is the Maharana Upanishad. See, having told so many steps in Maharana Upanishad, ultimately he says Atmanam Vedayati. He brings you to enable you to know who you are. Kastvam, koham, kuta ayataha, tadiha chintaya bhrataha. So Shankara says, Bhrata, oh brother, you please consider these questions, answers for these questions. Who thinks we have no time? Hey, they have no time to eat properly also. They just put some food in the cup, sit beside the computer and continue at the lunchtime. This is the trend in the present day people we are seeing, and we are unfortunate, 10 to 5 office work. But now not 10 to 5, 7 o'clock itself, that time. Meeting starts at 6:30 or 7 o'clock. In America, people are so much. There will be snow, rain and all that. They have to go to office by 6:30 and sometime. So when this type of trend has happened nowadays, Anil Gupta ji, there is peace for them, there is scope for them. They don't know everything else. Atmanam Vedayati is important, is it not? Anil Gupta ji, see, so many good programs are there in temple for Gita session. How many people are there?
Yeah, it's difficult to run the program.
Yeah, tomorrow Chandra Reddy wants to organize a workshop on Vishnu Sahasranamam in the temple. I don't know what the moment he comes back from India, he wants to hold, because he has spent 15 years to put a screen like that in the Hindu temple there. And nobody knows what is the screen, is it not? And when you sit and recite, that particular sloka will glow, is it? But only on inauguration time, he has shown how each verse of the Vishnu Sahasranamam is being reflected or glowed or bright on the screen. It is dull now. That's what I told him. Baba, you should you should put a definite notice how you can operate and see that you sit before and do Vishnu Sahasranam, because Vishnu is Shantyarthe Vinayujyate. What we want is Shanti. Bhagavad Gita is for action. Vishnu Sahasranama for peace. Vidura Neeti for moral science. And Sanasujatiyam for Vedanta. So that's how these 4 texts from Mahabharata are taken as the Ratnas, gems. And who follows the four texts, they always want something. That's why Mahabharata makes a worst fellow to become yet more worst. A greedy fellow, yet more greedy. That's why Vyasa Bhagavan was advised by Narada. He said, you wrote so many books, 18 Puranas. What you have done? You have not taught one lesson for them. Valmiki, he said, Ramavat Vartitaviyam Naravanavatu. Rama. He has no second book to speak. But he has given peace to all people, all times. Yavat sthasyanti grayaha, yavat parvataha, tavat Ramayanam prachalishyati. So look at this promise given by Brahmalo. But that promise was not given to Vyasa Bhagavan because he taught all people what is not at all really adding to knowledge, adding to Shanti. Is it not? I think so. You may be having some different answer. But people, see, after 10 years, imagine how would be life of the children. The kind of books, syllabus that they are reading in their schools and colleges is so that they have no textbook or no lesson on Ramayana, no lesson from Bhagavad Gita, no lesson from any Purana, no lesson from our Vedas, etc. So as a result, they are kept dark of the noble literature and wisdom. When they are dark, how at all they see the so Tamasoma, the Shatastra Upanishad tells you and what kind of name you can give to darkness, Andhakara, that's all. But you can give name for Surya and Chandra. So when Andhakara is a common thing, the entire sky will be pitch darkness. Idamandham tamakrutsnam jayeda bhuvanatrayam. If there is a total pitch darkness, what extra word is there to describe the darkness? Nothing. But if there is sun, if there is moon, if there are stars, etc., then you have something to name it. So you can break the silence, and by knowing the knowledge, gnanam, like that. So we have to be telling the youngsters more and more that your work is not the God. You have got something different. Take your mind. So I always tell people, see screen and then green and screen. Don't keep on looking the screen only right from morning to evening. Because if you see green, you have life. If you see screen, you have job. So screen is your playground. Screen, green is your happy ground. So playground, playground. You just imagine the difference. My grandson was telling. So playground is computer and playground is screen. But how many people have got time to go to the playground? No. Those days, children used to be in the road in India and playing cricket and all that, abstracting the people. Nowadays, not a child, not a person is seen on the road. They always sit in the house with all computer games. Anil Gupta ji, what a sea change you are seeing in that. That's why people are very much frustrated, ridden by shoka, ridden by worry, tapatraya, etc., etc. So I think it is a work of the elder people to see that some kind of such information is being given to the attractive. Already said mohyante mohita. But Krishna is successful in Bhagavad Gita. At the end of 10th chapter, he says, mohaha nashtaha tot prasada janardana. At the end of at the 18th chapter, nashto mohaha smritihi labdha tot prasada janardana karishye vachanam tava. A fellow who said, I don't listen to you, I refuse to fight war, I get sinner. In 18th chapter, say Arjuna has a sea change of his mind. Says, karishye vachanam tava. Then he takes the Gandiva and goes to fight. And again, you know that there's Anugita also. And after all war and all that, after Vishnu Sahasranamam, Arjuna meets in the palace Krishna and tells him, oh, Krishna, what you advised in the war, I have forgotten. So tell me what you said in the war. Then Krishna also says that, I also forgotten. Then a different knowledge has been given to this what Anugita. Bhagavad Gita, Anugita, they are complementary to one coin. So like that, it is going on, sir. So very happy. You appeared and disappeared in Andhanapolis.
Thank you.
And this is what, let us...
Actually, I was not knowing about Anugita. I just put a searching and a PDF came. Okay. All right. Uncle Ji, thank you so much.
So thank you, sir. We'll just meet again.
Thank you so much.
Today we have got new member who has joined our group from Delhi. So happy, thankful to you, madam. Don't
Thank
worry.
you so much, sir. So much of wisdom and listen to is a pleasure. Like it's a great thing. I learned so many things from you, and see, as you directly, rightly, very pointed out about Dhritarashtra and Vidur. I always see that Dhritarashtra also guided by so many bad people surrounding and him. So Sakuni is one of them, and so many other things, and that maybe could be the reason he was so much of desire, materialistic desire, and could not guide Duryodhan. So more than the Duryodhan's activities wrong, more than that, Dhritarashtra is responsible for that. I feel that, and as you said very rightly, the younger generations, the way they are going, and the syllabus, and the good to have new things have come up through national education policy. They are again talking about the ancient Indian knowledge system, and the value-added courses have come up. So Delhi University, we have implemented. So like the courses like Panchakoshas, and the courses like the art of being happy, and the courses like ethics and values in ancient Indian traditions. So certain, so 64 courses of value added they have introduced. So I think there will be a change will take place, but uh, so
Yeah, we expect good students, more students get admission into such courses.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The students are also important for that. We may introduce so many things, but we must want, and that's why let students be coming, and we wish that students get
So,
attracted.
yes, sir. Whenever you are free, I'll request you to take a lecture with the students. And
Oh, important, because they should get into that, because they have a lot of time before them, lot of health before them to hold the torch and make everything bright. So,
Yes,
please
sir.
आपका introduction क्या है, Jayanti, Dr. Jayanti ji, your introduction, what's you are doing there?
So actually, sir, I'm in Department of Philosophy. I'm an associate professor, and my field is philosophy. I did my PhD from JNU, and after that, I'm with the teaching for last 22 years. And my interest is that I did my PhD on Western philosophy, continental tradition, but my interest and passion, whatever you can say, that to my traditions, Vedic culture, Upanishad, Vedanta, basically Advaita, Vedanta, and Madhyamik Karika, later Buddhist. So that is my work is later on. I have started doing that, and I listen to learned people. So whatever I'm today because of them only. So little knowledge. So that is what I'm doing, and I always have a keep on positive thinking, and I also used to tell my students to have the positive thoughts always, and whatever problems may be in life, so you have to keep positive thoughts.
beautiful.
Good.
So
Thank you. Uncle Ji has been great. Correct. I think Uncle Ji, although I think sometime I'll listen to what Uncle Ji says. So see, I'll just have darshan of Durga Mata at my house.
that's so nice.
Yeah, this is made by my wife, by clay.
Okay.
Okay. All
So
right.
nice
Nice
of
meeting.
you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so
So,
much.
Okay.
Madam, you send your paper immediately.
Yes,
however
sir.
it-
I'll do that. I'll send the paper.
Thank you very much that you joined and added something to the, because to develop philosophical mind is very important, that we have got to infuse. Work
Yes,
for
sir.
that. Thank you, Ma. Namaste.
Thank you, Uncle Ji. Thank you so much.